待たせずにコーヒーでも入れよう。
Good morning. How's everybody doing? This is the Coffee and Kaiju. I don't know what episode number it is, but here we are. And it's me today, and we got Mr. Fresh Vinyl in the house.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Chilling. Fresh coffee.
Fresh coffee. Fresh Kaiju. Mike is not fresh. Unfortunately, Mike is under the weather with the Rona, so he will not be joining us. And look, we got some people already this morning. Good morning, Cole. Thanks for joining. Oh, she's awake. She lives. Hurry up. Hi, Christine. Who else we got here? Oh, I accidentally clicked on Christine again.
She's got to go make Super 7 commercials.
I'm trying to click on other people, and every time I click, you jump into the thing. Thank you. Morning, Ray. There he is. Very much less than fresh today, but he'll throw in comments and corrections as needed. Mark, thanks for joining. John, thanks for joining. Alex, thanks for joining. Damn, all right. Got a lot of people.
Anybody need any coffee? Anybody? Bring your cup up. Come on. There we go. Very good.
Rich said at the end of the episode he's going to chug that entire pot.
Hot.
Then he's going to get all, yeah, and then he's going to do all his yard work all at once.
Cold coffee's for bitches. Sorry.
What's going on, Mark?
It just came out. Sort of. It's been raining up here.
How do you not drink coffee? What the hell?
Well, Christine has going to have type 2 diabetes, and she's going to be preserved as a mummy because of all the salt intake she has. So,
yeah. Mr. Lee, happy birthday, sir. Thanks for joining.
Happy birthday.
Man. Thanks for
Don't
spending
forget
your
the
birthday.
biscotti.
Yeah, you got to have the biscottis. Christine actually had a question that I also was curious about as well. What happened to Phil?
Hold on, I gotta bring the whole family out then. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Morning, DJ.
So, he's getting. Phil broke his neck.
Yeah.
And he's basically decaying. So he broke his neck. Kind of looks like the chick from when you get your face sucked out in the movie The Ring. So Phil's dead. But
did he just start to decay like how the kaiju suits decay after a while?
Pretty much. And it's not like he's been outside in the yard frocking around. Yeah, anyway, so we got Phil Mena, his wife, and we got his mom, Phyllis. And then we got little Phil.
And
then Philip. So we got the whole family. Look at all my cock.
Oh, it's not that kind of stream.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be champions again this year too.
Phil's dead.
Leslie, thanks for joining us.
Leslie, Brian wants to be on Collect All Monsters. Stop being a sellout.
Well, he did ask me to be on it, and I had to cancel one time. But yeah, man, anytime. I'd love to be on there. I collect monsters. Who else? God, maybe got a lot of people this morning. Morning. Thank you for joining. Oh, that's you again. Thank you for joining. All right. So, in the spirit of trying to get this thing done before 3 p.m.
Yeah.
We're going to focus this episode on physical media, which I think more and more these days is important to have, especially the movies and the soundtracks, but really all of it. because as we've seen time and again, streaming services are not to be relied on or trusted. Even simply buying something on a streaming service and theoretically owning it doesn't really mean you own it, because they can take it away anytime they want.
Yep.
And they will. And that goes for video games, which is why I'm not a big fan of the trend
Digital buy, yeah,
of buying games digitally. The movies, look, there's a lot of movies. There's 30 movies or something, 35 movies plus. I mean, if you want to get into all the other Toho and Gamera and all that stuff, but a lot of it isn't even available streaming, so where are you going to stream Varan or Matango?
Actually, Varan was, I don't know if it still is, but was on Amazon Prime for a period of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably on Tubi.
Probably, yeah.
Tubi has a weird selection of stuff. Like you'll find, just scrolling through, you'll be like, what the hell? Why is this on Tubi? For a while, Tubi had a bunch of the dubbed Showa Godzilla movies. And then when Pluto's channel disappeared, those also disappeared. They were probably all kind of licensed under the same thing. Oh, look at that! Even with COVID, he's still making the dad jokes. Let's see. So yeah, physical media. That's what we're talking about today. And you can't talk about physical media obviously without first talking about the first physical media that most of us of a certain age anyway had access to, which would be VHS. But before VHS, there was actually a little thing called Super 8, and this is my meager Super 8 collection. And full disclosure, that's not a Super 8 player back there. That is a regular 8mm projector that I got from my grandfather's basement. But for collecting purposes, it just kind of does. I should just get a Super 8 player probably and try these out.
That would be
cool to have, Yeah. Just on the shelf, they're cool. And also, if you're really of a certain age, my age, the other physical media that we had before VHS was this bad boy. And and if you don't know what this is called a Viewmaster. And it is like you do this and you look through it and it's got pictures. And this is the one I had. I've had this probably since kindergarten, so probably talking 1979. But yeah, this is the Godzilla one. It came with a book, which has started to fall apart, which is why mine is paper clipped.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it comes with a book. It comes with 3 of these things that you slide down into the Viewmaster, and then you look at them, and they're actually, when you look through them, they're actually 3D. They have like a 3D effect, which is pretty cool. I don't know. You can kind of see what they are. Some of them are panels from the Marvel comics, and other ones are like drawn for the Viewmaster itself. But yeah, that was before VHS was a thing. I had those. But yes, VHS, of course. Rich, you still collect it? Mike? Well, I wouldn't say you collect it, but you still have it, right?
Yeah, I have, and just for a quick plug, I have all the VHS that I had. Yeah, so I actually thought about collecting VHS tapes. I've seen a lot of people that have like all of them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have most of the ones that I grew up with. I might be missing 1 or 2. I have all the ones in this picture except for the Monster Zero one. I have a different Monster Zero one. I think I did have that one as a kid. I've got the Scimitar one now, which came out later. But yeah, this is from Mike's collection here. These are also Mike's. I have all these ones as well. The covers on these, some of them had really cool artwork. Some of them had completely goofy, bonkers artwork. The Gamera series also had some, and a lot of them had, there'd be like multiple copies of the same movie with just different different covers from different companies. If they were in public domain, there were probably like 20 different versions of Godzilla versus Megalon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray 2D2 says the Viewmaster was a pain if you wore glasses. Yeah.
I remember getting my exposure to a lot of these VHS covers by going to video rental stores and going to the sci-fi section and like, I think the Godzilla raids again always stood out to me because that box cover was pretty damn cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I remember when I lived in Jersey, when I was a kid, went to a rental store, and for whatever reason, I think I just went there just to look, to gain knowledge. And I saw Godzilla raids again. Never seen it, but it's like, that's when I knew it existed. And it was that cover art. So that's how I learned about what movies were out there, was by these VHS tapes that were at rental stores that you could rent.
Yep. And I remember we had a store called Jamesway, which has long been out of business, but that's where I got my first Godzilla VHS movies, and it was the Gigan one and the Mechagodzilla one. They have similar covers. And yeah, I keep do you display yours, or do you just have them?
Mine are actually right there. I just have them on the bookcase here in this room. So books, VHS, and soundtracks.
Cool. I have I incorporate mine into my shelving. So like I'll put them with the so like Mothra versus Godzilla's with the Mothra stuff, and I'm using my mouse to point at it like you guys can see the mouse on screen. And King Kong versus Godzilla and Son of Godzilla's with the Son of Godzilla. So like I do them like that, which I think's one way of doing it. And I actually have a VCR and a old CRT TV down here, so every now and then I will pop one in for the nostalgia.
Nice.
Yeah. What I wish I had is the stuff I taped off TV on VHS as a kid.
Yep.
Because that would have had all the commercials and shit, which would have been funny as hell to watch. So
I used to. So when you saw the pictures that I provided, those are the only VHS tapes that I ever had. Everything else was recorded off of TV. And all those tapes are just long gone because I couldn't tell you where they are. But I would used to sit in front of Monster Vision on TNT and record them while they were on. So I'd always hit pause and then record for the commercials and whatnot. But again, that was just another nostalgia way of getting these movies, is recording them off of TV.
Yeah, that was the way.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you talk to certain people who are older than you, like me or Dave, I know David Dopko was another one. Me and him have talked about it. Before VHS, I would just record them on a cassette tape, just so I could just to listen to it. I would just hold a cassette player. I would hold the tape player up to the TV.
That's awesome.
What I mean? And listen to it. So
that's funny. I used to do that with the soundtracks. I had like a cassette tape recorder, like you said. I recorded the beginning of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster soundtrack with all the roars and everything.
Yep.
Mothra versus Godzilla and Blue Oyster Cults from TNT. That whole mix.
Yeah.
And then the end credits of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah '91. So
yeah.
Funny how we did all that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Big Ken, thanks for joining. I remember when I bought Raids again on VHS, my first reaction was, what the fuck is this crap? Yeah. I was excited as hell to get that though, because that was one that I'd only ever read about. And I'd never seen. And actually I had seen it once prior to that and taped it off TV. But yeah, having that as an official thing, it was a big deal for me. But yeah, it's odd that whole story could be an episode in itself, probably, of that movie. Mark, I have a large CRT. Yeah, dude, I would love to have a wood paneled one like back in the day, but I went with a slightly more. No, I went with a Trinitron because those are the best for playing the retro games on, which is really what I wanted it for. So, but yeah, man, the old wood panel is classic. Classic. Leslie, the old video treasures of Godzilla or Sea Monster is interesting since it had. Yeah. Yep. I mean, Godzilla just looked like however the guy they hired to draw him that day wanted him to look like. Is pretty much how they look like.
Yeah.
Oh man, Svengoolie. It's good stuff. That was probably when Svengoolie was local to Chicago and not a national show now, like it is now. And then of course, you can't talk about VHSs without the way a lot of us had to see, especially the Heisei movies, or if you wanted to see the original Japanese versions of the movies, like the original Godzilla, obviously, or if you wanted to watch the not Godzilla Raids Again, Gigantus the Fire Monster version of that movie, or for me, and for a lot of people, honestly, Destroy All Monsters, I had only ever seen on TV, so I had to get that as well. And of course, we're talking about bootlegs. So yeah, this is Mike's bootleg collection. I know he had wanted to talk a bit about this, and unfortunately he's not here, but maybe he'll throw some stuff in the chat here. But yeah, this was the way you got them, and you got them one of two ways. You went to a comic book show or a sci-fi show or something, and somebody happened to have them there, which is how I discovered that there was even a movie after Godzilla 1985 when I wandered into a comic book show when I was in 11th grade. And on the TV, at the first booth I walked to was Godzilla fighting a big flower, and my head exploded, and I was like, what is this? And yeah, $25 later, I had the movie unsubtitled, and I couldn't wait to go home and watch it. And that's how a lot of them were. And you would get these flyers. These are Mike's from his collection, which is cool that he still has them. But yeah, they would just send out these catalogs, and you could call on the phone and talk to a human, or send them a check. But yeah, Video Kaiju was a big one. But yeah, that's how you saw these movies. And we're going to talk about magazines and stuff later, but this stuff was all advertised in GFan.
Yep. Video Kaiju. Robert Dyer said it. Yep. I remember seeing those. Actually, I think I got one of the Video Kaiju brochures. I don't have it now, but way back when I ordered from Kaiju. I think it was in a box. One of the few times that I bought from them. But again, it's like, where are all these movies that you've never heard of, and now you've seen them. Oh, this one exists, that one exists. So I love those Toho Video bootlegs, because when I remember buying those, the few that I have, I felt like, yep, I was young. I was probably a teenager. I had to have been 14 or 15 or so.
Yeah.
When I got Godzilla versus Destroyer from a comic book shop, and I had already seen the other Heisei films, which were just ripped right to VHS tape, from re-recorded them. But Destroyer was like, yep, this is like I think I only got the movie a couple months after it came out, so it was like super fresh. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is freaking now. This is happening now.
Yeah, I mean, you'd watch them with no, you'd have to like kind of piece together what was happening because they weren't subtitled, or hopefully, GFan would have like a plot synopsis that you would have read, maybe like a month before you got the movie on bootleg. But most of the bootlegs I got looked like the three here on the bottom that say, the Destroy All Monsters and the Godzilla Fantasia, which I also had. It was literally just a VHS tape in the case it came in with a printed out label. And then later on they started getting like, we're getting fancy now. We're doing, we're doing like the clamshell cases with the actual cover art and stuff like that. I think I have one or two like that. Yeah. But all of mine were just, VHS tapes with a label printed on them for the most part. And almost, I can't think, like obviously the original Godzilla Gojira had subtitles because that would have been available at the time, but most of the stuff was just, fast forward through the dialogue and get to the monster stuff.
Yep.
So yeah. And it looks like, from the comments, most people spend a lot of money at Video Kaiju.
Yeah. I remember my first Godzilla convention, G-Con 97, New York City, Hotel New Yorker. Video Daikaiju was there, and like they were just stacked up on the table with the with the graphic side up. So it's just like this army of VHS tapes, and of course they were like $30 a pop, if I remember. So it's like, yeah, I mean that's kind of expensive.
You can buy 3 for 45.
Yeah. So or maybe they were 15, depending on. But I think at the convention they were more money. But that's where I bought Mothra. Back in '96. When so that's right. I picked up Mothra probably in '97 then. And for reasons, maybe for picking up that VHS tape there, like I enjoy that film. That's a whole other story and topic. But it was just a brand new Mothra movie. Cool. I have it now, and it's not even legal here in the United States to watch. Cool.
Yeah. Mike is saying that Japanimation Video was Video Daikaiju before they changed their name, which is funny because I remember also, around that high school age, when everybody kind of discovered manga, and nobody knew what to call anime at the time, so everybody just called it Japanimation. I got a new Japanimation movie we should check out this week. It's called Fist of the North Star, which is pretty awesome if you've never seen it. And then of course we don't need to dive too much into DVDs, because I feel like DVDs and Blu-rays are basically what it is now. But I feel like everybody should at least have this. Hopefully. Is it perfect? No. Definitely not. But is it the best we're probably gonna get for a while? Probably. There are flaws with it. I like this book. I don't like that it doesn't fit anywhere.
Yeah, I fit it with my records downstairs in the living room.
Yeah, I don't like that the glue, or that the pockets holding the Blu-rays in collapse, and they fall down and get glue on the discs. If you have yours stored in this thing still, you should probably go check on them, because they shouldn't be in there, because they will get messed up.
Well, that's if you're laying it down, right?
And the quality of some of the movies isn't even really all that great, for what it was and what you paid for it. But it's got the original Japanese version of King Kong versus Godzilla, which is the only way to watch that, other than watching a bootleg if you want it subtitled anyway. So it's worth it for the art in the book is cool. It's got a lot of pluses. It's got some negatives, but all in all, it's a worthwhile thing to have. Here's just a quick. This is some of my stuff. That blue one, that plain blue case there next to the -1 Blu-ray is all of the Showa movies from the Criterion set. They're just all stuffed in there. So yeah, and then obviously, hopefully, most people have by now got this guy as well.
Yeah, that's just totally worth the price. I mean, I jumped on it right when it came out, and it came with the gold Bandai Godzilla -1 figure. But when if you have this set and you put it in your hand, you can feel that Toho spent some good money putting that together. That's a beautiful box set.
It's a good quality set.
Very, very nicely done. Just in the fact that it comes with the Blu-ray and the minus color plus bonus features. It's just probably the best box set for a Godzilla movie that I own. So
yeah,
really cool.
Let's see, Ryan makes a comment that I agree with. He likes the dubbing, so they're the version he grew up with. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brand. For the Showa movies, 9 times out of 10, if I had a choice between dubbed or subbed, I would pick the dubbed version. And it again is only because of what I grew up with, and the dubs back then were pretty good, not like the dubs for the 90s and beyond, where it's got that really corny cartoon voices that they started doing. These were dubbed, pretty good. So I like those. And if you go to like the Internet Archive, you can find all of those on there. And I have multiple versions of every show and movie saved on a hard drive that's just permanently attached to my TV, including the dubbed versions I grew up with. So, yeah. What's this? They got the Japanese version. Yes, they do have it. They do have it. They do have it. Let's see. I hope Criterion makes DVD of the service. You're saying make a box set of the Heisei Millennium. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that they would do a Heisei I mean, maybe they will. I mean, if there's money to be made, they'll probably do it. But yeah. So yeah, that's your, as far as the actually owning the movies go, those are what we're looking at there. Some other stuff though. I know Rich, I don't have a lot of posters. I know you go pretty hard with the posters. Which, is another form of physical media that's good to have, especially these are really nice. And those are Go ahead. No.
Yeah, so these are just one sheets. They're literally right above me over the computer where we're sitting. And I picked these up, probably 2012 or 13. And they're not framed right. I really need to upgrade these frames because the sides are probably getting crunched because these are, if you have posters, then you know that the Japanese dimensions are not the same as American posters. So trying to find a poster frame in an American store is quite difficult. So your best bet is to go get your poster custom framed. But
might cost more than the posters themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a nice one too there. I love that poster for that movie.
I don't even know where I got that one.
I love that poster.
So sorry I got biscotti in my mouth, but hello.
Hello.
You can leave it out if you want. So this is also a one sheet, original 1973. Clearly Godzilla versus Megalon. I picked this up from Sean with Showcase Kaiju from G-Fest quite some years ago. And I put it off getting it framed for quite some time. But I took that to, I want to say, Michael's. And I think it cost me about $300 something to get that framed.
Oh,
and
my God.
I think the poster itself was maybe $150, give or take.
Jesus,
but I knew I wanted a double matte. Red and black's my favorite colors, and those colors actually work with all the colors that's happening on the poster, I feel. But I dig it, so that's downstairs in my living room. Yeah.
That poster rules. That might be my favorite Showa poster.
Yep.
It's just awesome.
Nope. And that was also my first Godzilla movie, so that's why that frame, that poster got special treatment, basically.
Yeah, nice. And then you got a couple more.
Yep. These also custom framed from Michael's. I think these were a little over $100 a piece. They get framed. The Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is signed by Miki Sagusa. Having a brain fart here. Sue me. Megumi Odaka. Gosh, brain fart. So I had to get that framed. I like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. It's probably my favorite Heisei film. Clearly 2000. And I have a bunch of other posters that are not framed still. A couple like anniversary posters. I think I have a 50th anniversary poster that Toho put out. Maybe it was 60th. It's probably 60th. But just finding out, for me, it's like, all right, where am I going to put it before I get it framed? So I gotta find a home for it. Then it pops into my mind how I want to get it framed. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are in the chat saying that space is a problem.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am too. Like I pretty much don't have any empty wall space down here in the Godzilla room. I do have a lot of smaller posters, like mini repro posters. I have a bunch of Bob Eggleton prints. Like I have these are going down the basement stairs to my Godzilla room. And they're all Bob Eggleton originals, and I think he signed all these for me as well. I do have a bunch of his signed, maybe not all of them, but I think most of mine are signed by him. And then in my living room, my wife's cool enough to she let me hang 2 Zornos above the sofa. So I have this one. on one side next to one window. And that's all. And I got him to sign that one for me. And then I got this one on the other side, which he signed for me as well. I fucking love these two posters.
Yeah.
His artwork's just so crazy cool. So yeah, I'm glad. And she's cool. I mean, before we got married, I had him hanging up in the living room, and I was like, when she was moving in, I was like, well, do you want to take these down? She was like, no. I was like, and so, they've been up for a long time. They're cool. I'm like, you sure you don't want to take them down? But
they work with the room. Like, well, when I was there over a year ago, like, I love how you guys have, a mix of things that represent you. Like, even, it just reminded me because it was in the mirror, the Infinity War poster. Like, that's a cool.
Yeah. Dude, those posters are awesome. Yeah, you can see it in the mirror
I
there.
dig that with the Infinity Stones. So those Godzilla posters definitely fit with the room. It works.
Yeah. Yeah, the Infinity War, and then on the other side of the TV on that wall is the Endgame one.
Yeah.
And when I found those online, I showed them to her, and I was like, but we should hang these on either side of the TV. And she was like all about it. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm buying them. So yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, posters. I mean, again, if you hang on, let's see here. Ryan, my wife is passed out, absolutely covered in my Godzilla stuff. She just
photo.
Yeah. Yeah. Zorno, dude, he does. I love his style of art. Like, and those are both, especially Gigan. Gigan's like probably my favorite Godzilla movie. So I just freaking love that poster. It captures it perfectly. And if you, I don't know how well you can see it, but like the top of it, it's supposed to be a Japanese comic book, which is pretty cool. So I just love that whole thing. So yeah, moving on to the printed word, which is another thing that you should definitely get some books and magazines, because again, just because it's online today doesn't mean it's going to be online tomorrow. But so we got these are some of the oldest ones in my collection. I've got I think I have all the issues. I have all 3 issues of Mark of Light, which, if you don't know, came out in the early 90s. They only did 3 issues. Maybe they only did 2. I don't know. They only did 2 or 3 issues. I have them all, however many there are. They're really good for the time. It was you couldn't find any English language stuff on Godzilla really at that time in magazine form or any kind of tokusatsu stuff. So that was cool. And of course, Japanese Giants is another one that you absolutely have to respect. That was probably the OG fanzine. So I have a few of those as well. I also there's a collection, and I don't know if I took a picture of it. There's a full collection of books there's a book of the full run of Japanese Giants, which is worth picking up as well. I think you can get it off of Amazon. Mike's got some of these. I have a few of these as well. These were, you'd pick these up in like specialty comic shops. Most places didn't carry them, but these are always fun to have, even though you couldn't read anything. It was always good to look through.
Yep.
Rich, you have some must-haves in this one here. The Art of Japanese Monsters by Sean is great. His collectibles book is still good to look through. It's obviously the prices are not going to be aren't going to be accurate anymore.
Right here, this is $15. Yeah, like in 1995 guy.
But it's still cool to look through. The compendium, I actually had that. I sold mine to Jessica Etchels a long time ago. But yeah, I have the Life magazine. Those are all good. Then you got stuff like this, which shockingly is worth a fortune. Somehow. If anybody's looking, I have an extra Godzilla Likes to Roar I'd probably part with. But I only have one of the other one.
Do you have? I don't think I have them any. No, I don't. Unless they're buried. The Random House books forgot about
No,
those.
but I like those.
Yeah, the stories, especially
are
the ones
fun.
written by Mark Saraceni.
Yeah, they were fun to read.
Yeah, really, and because they also were a continuation of the previous story, so it was really cool.
Yeah, they took place in the actual like Toho world. He had access to like the other monsters, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
So yeah. Mark, August, and Bob did great with it. Yeah, exactly. They did. Oh yeah, Japanese Fantasy Film Journal was another great one. The Biolante issue of Japanese Giants. Yeah, I mean, dude, Japanese Giants, it's really hard to like express how in depth they went with stuff. Like it was really, really like deep dives on those movies, like that you would not find. I mean, and honestly, like the amount of research that those guys did for that out of the sheer just love of the movies, because they weren't making any money off printing those magazines, so pretty fucking awesome. And then we got some more Mike Russo stuff. I mean, study that because a lot of that stuff's worth having. A lot of it's outdated again. The Stuart Galbraith book there is probably a little outdated, but I mean, the thought is the thought, so.
Believe it or not, Mike actually has a book report on each and every one of those books.
Here's some more Mike stuff. Some more Mike stuff. The top one here, I wish he was on because that one was like the Bible of
toy collecting
books. Yeah, for a long time. Here's some of my stuff this is stuff in my Godzilla room. Yeah, I focused on these ones here. These are all by John LeMay, who I've talked about, I think, a few times. His books are they're really good. You can get them off Amazon. They're not very expensive. This one specifically, the King Kong one, a lot of his are about unmade movies. This one's great. It's got Godzilla stuff. It's got Kong stuff in it. It's super, super worth reading. So yeah, I definitely suggest picking up some of his stuff. It's good. This stuff is in my actual bookshelf in my living room. Yeah, so that's some of that stuff there. I've got a few coffee table books. These are both well worth picking up. These are actually on my coffee table. And one of them I got autographed when I met him, which is cool. Also, what do I got? You would not be able to talk about books without talking about these.
Yeah.
So I've got the original.
Book, right?
This is the one I grew up with. I got it signed by Haruo Nakajima. And this is the one I grew up with. Fortunately for me, my mom was a elementary school teacher and had access to order them directly through the school. So she ordered me this one, and she ordered me the Kong one. And for getting them when I was 8, I kept them in immaculate condition. They are like flawless. Awesome. Yeah. And I also have a bunch of the other ones that I actually got from the school library. When they were getting rid of old books, my mom got a bunch of them. Those are beat to shit, the other ones that I have. But those are really nice. And those, for a lot of people, were like, that Godzilla book was like the Bible of books. So, and magazine wise, there's a few other ones here. I got issue 1 of Fangoria. Was a Godzilla centric one. This is worth, I mean, information wise, but awesome, for the historical value of it, and it's cool. And then we also had briefly, Kaiju Fan, which was a spin-off, for lack of a better word, of G Fan. There's more to it than that, but we'll just leave it at that. And then obviously, I think most people probably found G Fan. I actually started on issue 14, but I've got everything from 1 through 83, I think, because where I stopped. The internet kind of killed G Fan. Robert D. Read it but never owned it. Are those still available? Which one are we talking about? I don't know.
Famous Monsters 114.
But yeah, so books and magazines. Good to have. What else we got?
Comic books?
Comic books. Yeah. Comic books. Can't.
I'll go.
Godzilla in comics now is pretty commonplace. I think he's doing like Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe is like a thing now. Yeah.
Boston's next.
I mean, yeah. Back in the day, it was very rare.
Yeah. We had the Dark Horse comic books. So I'm showing these off because this was my favorite run of comic books. Was the Dark Horse. Clearly, IDW has been doing Godzilla comics since I think like 2015. And I was actually in Harrison Comics. That's the shop we went to when you've been up here. And it blew my mind actually how many comic books and stories they have. They got like Mothra comics, clearly Godzilla and everything, but the Dark Horse is where it's at. Like this one, I love Godzilla vs. Hero Zero. We mentioned this earlier. Where is it? The color special. Where I have that one.
The color special is awesome.
Yeah, that's where is it? This was a must-have.
I love the art in that one too.
Yep, by Art Adams. That's basically like Godzilla versus Daimajin. Phenomenal. One of the other things I loved about the Dark Horse comics was the art covers that Bob did, and like a lot of them. I mean, Bob's art is just you know it when you see it, and for whatever reasons, well, I know what reasons, but I love Godzilla Zero. That cover. I have awesome. 3 of them. Wait, sometimes I don't know which way I'm going, and one of them signed by Jesus. One signed by,
that's worth a lot of money.
By Bob himself. I bought this at the comic book shop, and I found it signed. And I'm like, sweet, grabbing it. You know, it was only $20, but the story. Now, to ramble about it briefly, because I could ramble. It was only 16 issues. They were going to stop at issue 12. And I always remember reading like the mail section in the back of each comic, and the editor at the time, Randy Stradley, I believe his name is. Said they were going to stop at issue 12 because probably that's all they were able to be licensed for was 12 issues. But they extended it another 4 issues. And the last issue was this phenomenal piece. I love it. It's written and inked, the whole thing by Bob. Beautiful story, like from Godzilla's perspective. But the whole story of this comic book run with G-Force and the characters and the monsters and everything, just freaking awesome. If you haven't read it, I think you could pick up, what do they call it, an omnibus, where they're all compiled into one book. Pick it up. It's so much fun to read, and it's definitely got like I want to say a Heisei vibe to the story. Dark Horse also did a Gamma run as well, so that was only 4 issues.
Yeah, I had those. Cool. I do have those floating around somewhere. Let's see. Comments. Marvel Godzilla's mind blowing. Just having me. Yeah. So I do have the Marvel. I have. I was talking to Rich off air before. I was digging through my comics, and I thought I had way more than I do, but I maybe have about half the run. And they're very of their time. But you know, again, you can have him. He does fight the Avengers. You know, Shield is in it. You know, he at one point gets shrunk down to the size of a mouse and fights a mouse. So Mike has the complete Marvel run. That's cool. Yeah, I thought I had more.
Somebody asked if I had this one. Yes.
I have that one too. That's a classic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a classic. And yeah, the Dark Horse special absolutely rules. What's up, Kyle? Is Kyle in Japan?
Kyle lives in Japan.
I know, man. What the hell time is it in Japan?
It's probably almost
is it 1 a.m. Nighttime?
It's almost 1 a.m. or midnight.
Woo! You are a maniac, Kyle. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, comics. I think, comics. I do think. Video games would be another one. I don't have a ton of video games Godzilla wise. I still do have this one floating around. Which honestly, well, Save the Earth's better, but this is a fun game. And then I don't have the NES version, but I do have an NES, but I do have the Game Boy one, which is not a very good game. But I do have it, and I should get the NES version, and I don't know why I don't. But I should. There has been a lot of rumors that Toho, maybe we might be seeing another something like this. This game's super fun. I mean, I feel like probably most of us have probably played that. Just a super fun monster fighting game that's done like the right way. I love those games. Save the Earth is and it had like a full cast of monsters. It was just a fun story for single player. Plus, it was really fun multiplayer. The third one kind of dropped the ball especially on the Wii with the motion controls and stuff. But the PS4 game is it exists. The NES game, I've actually toyed with the idea of doing a live stream of the NES of me playing the NES game. And I'm not gonna lie, I'd be using save states because that game's frustrating as hell, but it is really fun.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that game. As a kid. Oh yeah, comics. One last thing on comics I did forget to mention. I do have the full run of Dark Horse comics. This is the other side of my stairway going down. They're all framed. So that's like the original Dark Horse Godzilla special. And then they did an adaptation of Godzilla 1985 that they translated. So those are going down my basement stairs. And you have it.
I do.
Oh,
so I got to babble about this a little bit. So if anybody's been watching my Bandai marathon, I've been mentioning this. So it works. I've been playing it. I pulled out the NES, and sure enough, I had like the cleaner that you clean the track and everything with on the cartridge, and in the system itself, plopped it in, and it works just fine. This game, I love it. It was my first exposure to many monsters that I never knew existed.
Yeah.
Mogera, Baragon, Varan, Mechagodzilla. Most of the monsters in this game I did not know existed because I didn't see the movies yet. So eventually when I saw the movies, I'm like, oh, that's where that monster's from, when I was playing this. But I don't think I've ever even beat Ghidra at the end of the game because he's really freaking hard to beat.
It's very
but it's fun. Great. And like the music in the beginning and everything. Awesome game.
Yeah, Mike, where's he at? Mike made a comment that he could never beat it without a Game Genie. I could actually go through that game in high school, but there's a big difference between having time to perfect a video game when you were 14 and having time to perfect a video game when you're 50. So I can't do it now without save states, but I did beat it legit back in the day. I don't have it. I do have an original NES hooked up to my TV, and I have what's called an EverDrive, which is a NES cart that you load an SD card into with every single ROM that you can fit in there. So that's what I play it on when I have it, and it's cool. Oh yeah. Has anybody read that creepypasta for the Godzilla NES game? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I like how basically, because I was doing some research for my Bandai videos, I was looking for clips from the game, and I found pictures of the creepypasta stuff. So seeing what people have done with, monsters that weren't in the game looks really, really awesome.
Yeah, I know, it is pretty cool. Mike is right. There is a cheat code that brings you to the Planet X at the end, but if you use it, you start out at the same power level that you start the game out with, and you have no prayer of doing anything. The way to beat King Ghidorah is you got to sacrifice Mothra. You got to let Mothra fight him first, and then you go in with Godzilla and finish him off. Because you can't, if Godzilla dies at King Ghidorah, you cannot beat the game. It's impossible. So, moving on to what are we moving on to? CDs. Music, soundtracks, CDs. Again, a lot of these back in the day, you would have had to, import. So Yeah, these are some of Mike's. These are yours, right, Rich? Yeah. Yep. I have a few. Yeah.
I'm pissed. I have to find a Mothra versus Godzilla soundtrack. I should have that. And why I don't? Sue me.
I have a few CDs. I might have like 5 or 6. But I do have these two, and I know there's a third one, but I do not have it. But these are definitely cool to have, especially if you were there live to see it. That's the ticket to one of the shows at G-Fest that our buddy Dutch did, and yeah, those are very worth having. And then Rich, this is something you sent me. This is your vinyl of Godzilla versus Kong. Let's see. Mike. All the soundtracks has got reached for CD for practically peanuts. Oh, well, there you go. Nice. Yeah, and then somebody here is talking about the Mondo releases. Yeah. So that's what we're going to get into now is the vinyl side of it, because I think there's to me, especially if you have a turntable, and I have one down here and I have one upstairs, collecting the vinyl stuff, the price is different than buying a CD, obviously, but what you get with them and the art and stuff makes it super worth it to me. Like the box set here, this is the Waxworks box set that came out, and God, where's my camera? There it is. And it's just it's just incredible. It's so well done. And I just looked this morning, and it is not available anywhere anymore. I did see it for sale on Amazon for $998.
That's insane.
I don't know if you want to. Yeah, I don't know if you want to spend that. It was $450 when it came out. It's just beautifully done. The packaging's incredible. All of the discs look amazing. It comes with one of these things. It's nice. It's a slip. It basically replaces your mat on your turntable. So that's like permanently on my turntable now, which is cool. All of them have amazing artwork. All of them have beautiful different. All the vinyls are different colors. That's the Godzilla versus Megalon one. Like I said, the art is fantastic for all of them. I love that one. So yeah, I have a pretty decent vinyl collection. This is a lot of Godzilla stuff on that shelf. Here's the -1 soundtrack, very worth having. It's awesome. Comes on an awesome clear vinyl. This is the War of the Gargantuas. This is the inside. There's a Mothra one there, and then I've got some, some that I've picked up over the years from like G-Fest or wherever, as well. So
nice variety.
Yeah, and like I said, just having the just like, oh yeah, exactly, like it is. It's just the art and the color of the discs and all that stuff, and honestly, just the sound. I mean, it does sound really nice. If you have putting
a record on.
Yeah, it's nice to do. Get that nice warm, needle across the thing sound. It's all very nice, very nice, very nice. Hell yeah, man. That it is. It's a shame it hasn't been reissued. I remember when they announced this thing coming out, I set an alarm so I could pre-order it. I probably overestimated how many people wanted to spend $450 for a box set of Godzilla music, but I was like, I'm getting this. I have to have this. So yeah, I'm a big time into that. Lastly, but not leastly, would be something that would be personal to everyone from a physical media standpoint, and that would be autographs, especially to me, autographs that not necessarily that you bought from like eBay or something, but like autographs that you actually got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in person, from the person. Those are the things I think that in my collection, like I really appreciate that stuff. So the Rich, this is some stuff you sent me. you want to explain what those panels are there on the screen? The white panels with all the different signatures on it.
So I'm probably going to butcher pronouncing this. I think, if I remember correctly, they're called shikishi boards.
Mm-hmm.
So those 4, I got. I always feel fortunate. So I feel fortunate enough to get to have those from going to conventions and dinners where those guests were at. Haru Nakajima, Megumi Odaka, Akira Takarada, Ken Satsuma. So all those 4 shikishi boards, again, if I'm not pronouncing it right, were from those events. Having been able to attend the dinner was just a gift in itself. But everybody that went to that dinner, Brian, I know you have some. We were all gifted one, So those hold like a real sentimental value to them because of mostly for being at that event. So and now knowing that Nakajima's gone, Satsuma's gone, Takarada is gone, those are just, there's really no monetary value to them to me personally. It's just such an awesome experience, and when I look at them, it just reminds me of the good times that were had at those dinners, and with friends, of course. Like how much better does it get when you're out to dinner with a group of friends that we've built and established over the years in this fandom, get to go out to dinner and with our heroes. I've always said it gives me goosebumps right now, just like that phony The Rock. But just awesome, great times. You just can't put you can't put a price on that experience.
And those boards, you can see the red on there. Those are stamps. Yeah, that they have. They're like personalized stamps that they use. So yeah, it's just awesome to have those. Mine are incorporated. I have a wall of photos.
Nice.
So mine are all incorporated into that. And Rich, you were with me probably for 99% of the pictures on that wall. And Mike was there for probably 80% of them. But yeah, I mean, just incredible stuff there.
I think I'm just looking. I think I was there for every event. I think that you're there.
Yeah, I think you were there for all of them. Actually, I think Mike. The only one I think Mike might not have been there for was the Anime Boston and the Chiller.
Yeah,
the Chiller one that we did. Which Chiller was the first time I had met any of them. At that Chiller, which makes that one doubly awesome. The Anime Boston obviously is where we all went out to dinner, which was really awesome as well. Mike's got some autograph stuff that he sent over. That's his stuff, which is pretty cool.
Could we go back to my photo? I want to babble about the other ones, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll save the top one for last, but the photos, the 8x10s, we got Nakajima, Satsuma, and Kitagawa. I don't have one with Kitagawa outside of the suit, and I don't remember if there was one at the time. I need to fix that at some point. So I have the Godzilla 2000 suit photo signed by him, but I really love having the photos with the suit actors like Satsuma and Nakajima are. The most important one, honestly, for me is the bottom corner one with Nakajima sitting next to the 64 suit. Clearly, that's my favorite suit, my favorite Godzilla movie. But Nakajima,
an awesome picture all around.
Yeah, it's just Nakajima just in himself, just having a moment. I think he was smoking a cigarette. But at the show, the convention that he was at, I think that was my second autographed the last day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get another one because I had it in my mind. I don't know how many more times I'm going to have this opportunity. And he signed it. And then we were getting ready for a picture. And I had asked Jim Serenella prior to this if I could ask Sonoe, Nakajima's daughter, if she could sign it. When you're at those shows, when she was there with her father, you really just got to take a step back and appreciate what she's doing. She's, traveling overseas to help her dad, help him from start to finish of the day, get through these conventions, the autograph sessions, the panels and everything. Like, she is a gem.
Yeah, she's so nice.
Yeah, again, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because it was really just a magical moment to ask her, can she sign it? So we were getting ready for the picture after Haru signed it, and I looked at her, and I wish I had the photos to put it together, but somebody, I think it was my ex-wife Jess, she was taking pictures as this was happening. I asked Sonoe, can you sign? I'm pointing at her, then I pointed at the photo with a Sharpie, and she was like in total shock because I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't know if anybody had asked for her autograph ever at the time. And she got teary-eyed. She teared up a bit. She was kind of like confused what to do. like she had to take a minute to like just grasp herself. So she signed it in that top left corner. As she was doing that, Haru Nakajima, he was sitting down in between us both, and I was standing behind him. He kind of just does a slow turn around and looks at me like, you sly son of a bitch, and he eyeballed me, and I will never forget it. It was just priceless. I just wanted to make her feel special, because she's doing such a great job of bringing her dad here, making us all feel special and just having a real great time with it. So that was that photo. Irreplaceable moment. The top photo, if you could see, it's got the Fukube 100. That was from the first concert at G-Fest. I couldn't tell you everybody's autograph. I know Takarada's on there, Satsuma, Nakajima, Shinichi Wakasa, and Robert Scott Field, and I don't know who the others are off the top of my head. But yeah, so those are my autographs, aside from the figures. I'm done rambling.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. We got some comments. Let me catch up a little bit. Yeah. Decided the last second to the night. Yeah, dude, Takarada's just the fucking man.
Yeah.
Dude, he was the coolest dude.
Boss mode.
Yeah, I love that guy, dude. He was just such a cool dude. The fact that he remembered me at G-Fest from the dinner that was like 2 years prior is, you know what I mean? Like, dude, he was just
what was he called? What was your nickname?
He called me Mr. Saki.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just awesome.
No. Autographs are great. I just was reading Kyle's comment.
Yeah, I hear this one here.
I have a bunch of other 8x10s from when Kaiju Addict John Stanowski was doing. He managed to get a bunch of autographs through his site. I have Akira Kubo's. I think I also want to say Kumi Mizuno, Yoshio. I can't pronounce his last name. Shuchiya. Yeah. But yeah, so I got so much more things I gotta get framed and displayed.
Autographs are great, but I mean, honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, yes.
The moment, the memory, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That stuff right there is
I gotta do something like that.
I love the autographs, man, but the pictures, and just especially when people that don't understand this come down here, they always ask about the pictures. You know what I mean? Like, it's anytime I've ever had anybody have to come to my house to work on something that requires them to go into the basement,
stare at the wall,
it's always, I love hanging back, because it's always like, I've had people ask, like, can I take some pictures? Like, I need to send this to, I'm like, yeah, dude, do whatever. Like, it's fine. Yeah. And then speaking of, Shogun looks ugly and overpriced. Love it. Yeah, it is ugly. That is my Shogun Godzilla from when I was 8 years old. So
great. You got the fist and everything.
Yeah, it's in good shape. It's got one small crack in one of the toenails, but yeah, otherwise it's in wonderful shape for how old it is. So let's see, anything else here. I got Kira Takarada. Yeah. Yes, and I'm gonna leave this one up. Haru Nakajima's daughter is a real sweetheart. She is so incredibly nice. Which leads me to the last slide that I have, which is this, which Rich, I think you also got one of these, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Which is after her father died, she sent these out to people that knew her dad. And the fact that she sent them to just a schmucky fan like myself is, pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, she's great. She's such a sweetheart. I hope she's doing well. I mean, I see that she's still on Facebook and things like that. So, I always, she's awesome. And those memories are awesome. And physical media is awesome.
Yep.
As much as we love collecting, the figures and stuff like that, collecting this other stuff is important, possibly more important, really, especially for some of the film, like keeping copies of the films in your collection. I know I see people in GCG a lot of times like selling their entire physical media collection. I'm like, dude, like just because it's on HBO Max right now doesn't mean it's going to be on HBO Max in a year. You know what I mean? Or just because it's on the Internet Archive right now. I mean, right now the Internet Archive is being sued by like a bunch of music studios because of the music that's on there. So, keep
physical media is where it's at.
Physical media, man. Keep your physical media. Even if you don't flip through your books that often anymore, they're good to have. They're good to have. So, yeah. So that's pretty much what I got for physical media, and yeah. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will do this again in May. I feel like we're back in the swing of things. Mike concurs. I'm shocked that Mike concurs that the movies are the most important, but they are. Without the movies, none of this other stuff would be here. So, yeah. I'm gonna say, if you want to leave a comment in either me or Rich's channel, or if you just want to reach out to me or Rich, if you have an idea for a topic for an episode, please, by all means, let us know, because I'm always looking for stuff to talk about. Even if it's like, hey, could you talk about, Godzilla versus Megalon? Like, whatever, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Whatever. I do want to do, I keep saying it, and we're going to do it. We're going to do an episode where I got people to send in pictures of their collections for us to kind of like look at, and we're not going to rip them apart or anything like that, but I'm just curious. I always like to see how people display their stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that would make a good episode, and that could even be like a semi-recurring episode, depending on the feedback we get. Obviously we wouldn't be able to do 50 collection rooms in one.
Yeah, or you could just do one person's collection each show or something.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Dude, I would be 100% down to talk about. In fact, I'm going to make a note on my phone.
Child on wives.
What was that one?
Ryan just right after the canceled movies.
Well, yeah.
But I'm alive. Shut up.
Mark, we plan on doing Bandai Part 2 because we only covered Bandai in the 80s. So we need to do Bandai in the 90s. And then I guess at some point we'll have to do modern Bandai. So yeah. Unmade Kaiju films. All right, that's in my notes. So there we go. And if you're interested in unmade Kaiju films, seriously, those John LeMay books are awesome. So correct, Ken. Physical media forever. All right, Ray, thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Rich, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Two things. Working on literally before we got on, and be working in between this next Bandai Marathon episode that will be on Mothra 61/64 for the Bandai figures. And then at 3:00 today, in about 2 hours and 50 minutes, I will be on Collectible Monsters supplemental for the Anguirus anniversary stream with Mr. Leslie Chambers, Nick Adam of the Monster Report, and the biggest Anguirus fan and collector on the planet, Jessica Etchels. So
nice.
be there at 3 p.m.
Hell Boom. Yeah. Cool. Man, that's a jam-packed day of Godzilla content.
Yep.
Eagles draft episode. No. Yeah. Someday I'm going to make another video for my channel, I promise. But in the meantime, if you want to hear more of my voice, you can check out Gen X Lounge podcast. That comes out every 2 weeks. Please, if you do check it out, for the love of God, do not start on episode 1. Even though, no offense, Mike Russo, you're on that episode. It is nowhere near it. It's just, please don't. It's not the best. It's not the best. Let's put it that way. But yeah, having said that, thanks everybody so much for tuning in. We will do this again at least once in May. I'm feeling it again. I'm enjoying doing it. I think Rich, I know you're happy that we're doing it again.
Hell yeah.
And, hell yeah.
Fresh Out Alive might be a thing too again. We'll see.
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. All right, cool, everybody. We're gonna see. I have it set to automatically end when I hit this button, so we'll see what happens. We may just be sitting here looking at each other. Let's see. Oh no, there it goes. It's gonna work.
How about some coffee?
Coffee? I like coffee.